We'll go ahead and get going with Patrick today.
Good afternoon, buddy. How are you?
Well, good afternoon, Patrick. How are you?
Thank you for asking. I'm fine. I appreciate it. I got three things real quick for you off the top. Saw the lineup. I'm assuming it's just a day off for Trevor, nothing more than that?
Nothing more than that. Trevor played a hard 15 innings yesterday and has been, as you know, pretty much a regular in the lineup. And, we talked post game and, we both felt this was a day for him today. Who knows how the game is going to play out tonight. I'm going to try to stay away from him the best I can. But today I think was a needed blow for Trev.
Okay. I believe, if I have this right, Kyle Freeland will make his AAA first rehab start on Saturday. Is that correct?
Got that correct?
Okay. Following up on that, at this stage of his rehab, is it going to be a typical incremental steps for him, or because of the injury, is it going to take any longer? Is it going to be any different than any other pitcher who's building up arm strength?
Well, he's been building up pretty regularly now through our simulated games. I think he threw 3 innings in St. Louis. We feel as though Saturday that he's going to throw upwards to 60 to 70 pitches. He's that built up, and we feel good about it. And Kyle's arm feels great. That's the most important thing is his health. And along the way, he's felt, confident in where he is physically and mentally, which is, also a big hurdle to overcome is, how you feel mentally about your arm. And he's in a really good spot. So we project, 60 to 70 pitches Saturday for Kyle.
And can you give us any idea on what's next?
And then probably another one with Albuquerque. I think the following Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go from there. And that will be an incremental increase in pitches as well during that game. Again, this is a competitive game. There's no rollovers or anything like that. So Kyle's got to get through it and pitch well. But he'll make 2 starts there, and then we'll assess where he is.
Okay, good. Hey, you mentioned about the mental aspect of it. When you have an injury that, at least at the time, was so abrupt and was scary, let's face it.
No doubt.
And we know Kyle has a really strong personality and a want to. But sometimes can that be as big a hurdle sometimes as the injury itself, the mental side?
Yeah, I think for pitchers, for sure, when you're talking about the arm, in Kyle's case, the shoulder, other pitchers, the elbow, those are the ones that mentally you have to overcome. And you have to feel extremely confident that you're back. And, Kyle's there. That was, my main question to him, over the last 3 weeks was, are you mentally in a good spot and confident to go out and compete and to turn the ball loose? And he's reassured me and Keith that he is. And it's been indicative by the way he throws. So, I'm excited to hear the game report on Saturday, to see how he did. And just to make sure that, he's fine health-wise. Again, we're going to look at the performance, but for us, it's more about the health, building your arm strength with the pitch count, and getting through that in a great frame of mind, physically and mentally.
Great. And I have one more for you. After his last start, Chichi Gonzalez, on his own volition, told us, he thinks he needs to have, I believe the way he phrased it, he needs to have a better swing and miss pitch, is what he told us. In other words, he thought some of the at-bats were too long. He was building up his pitch count in the early innings too much. Guys were fouling stuff off. So my question for you, buddy, is that something he needs to work on?
Well, yeah, it's always nice to have, some sort of what we might refer to as a wipeout pitch, but there's a lot of pitchers who don't have that wipeout pitch. And it comes down to, throwing the ball in good spots, getting the ball in the corners down, getting the ball elevated at the right height, getting the ball on hitters' hands inside, And if you do that, I think you can get your outs. I mean, there's a number of pitchers in the big leagues who don't rely on the strikeout, right? The guy tomorrow night is a classic example of that. Kyle Hendricks in Chicago, I wouldn't say has a tremendous wipeout pitch. He's got great weapons, with the changeup and the moving fastball. But Chichi could go into that category of pitchers where they might not have one dominant pitch, but if they command the ball and get the hitter swinging because he is throwing strikes, they'll put the ball in play, and if it's in a good spot with movement, there'll be mishits. There'll be lower exit velocities and what's referred to now as softer contact. So, that's his. I think for me, that's probably a greater challenge and probably more attainable than creating a swing and miss pitch.
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh, and one more thing, Patrick.
Yes.
I know, well, somebody will probably ask this, but Brendan Rodgers is also with Albuquerque, and he's going to play tomorrow.
Oh, okay, good.
Down there in Marty Robbins' area of El Paso, Texas.
Okay, I'll let somebody else follow up on that. Thank you.
Danielle?
To follow up on Brendan then, is he starting or is he just kind of pinch hitting for now?
He's going to start, Danielle. He's going to start and play second base.
And then changing topics, I mean, what have you seen and liked from Connor Joe so far in his short time up?
What impressed us in spring training was the quality of the at bat, and that's happened here in the big leagues too. The walk rate is, in a really good spot now, and that boils down to, and you've heard me say it a million times about a lot of different guys, that the goal for all hitters, all good hitters, they take balls, they don't expand the zone, and they swing at strikes. And Connor's shown the ability to do that here in a short period of time, but that's sort of his approach. I mean, that is sort of his calling card as a hitter. So if he continues to do that, take balls, swing at strikes, the best you can, he's going to be, a performer for us, because I think there's bat to ball skills. There's some power will show up. He's got a good swing. He's got some bat speed. So he's got a lot going for him offensively. And we saw that in spring training, and it's carried over here, just in a short period of time.
Thank you.
Noah?
Hey, bud. For the Reds this weekend, their offense, they're first or third in average on base and slugging. So what are going to be some of the keys to attacking their offense?
Yeah, it's a good question. We just got done with our scouting report meeting, our advanced report. I'm not going to give you the particulars of what we're going to do, but you're correct in those offensive numbers. I think it starts with, good location of pitches. They do have some tendencies that we're aware of, and we'll try to do some things on the pitching side to, attack those tendencies. They got the leading hitter in the league in Winker. They have some other guys who are swinging the bat well. They have power. They have average. They'll take some walks. They do a lot of good things. They're an aggressive group. So it comes down to, obviously getting the ball in good spots, whether it's, up and in, down, away is, sort of the classic that will get all hitters. We got to execute pitches. We got to change speeds. I think the use of the secondary pitches has to come and play a little bit more maybe against this group, but they got to be for strikes, and they got to be down the zone.
And then also to follow up on the injury front, do you happen to have any updates on Chris Owings, CJ Crone, or Carlos Estevez?
Carlos and CJ are both getting close to returning to more intensity in their work. Carlos is again going to play catch with an intensity. His finger didn't bother him yesterday when he played catch. Hopefully that happens again today. And there'll be a bullpen session here coming maybe potentially as early as tomorrow or the next day if he comes out of today, playing a good game of long toss. CJ Crone's going to get on the field today. He's going to play catch. He's going to move around. He's going to run a little bit. Probably not ready to get in the cage and swing because of the back situation. But the activity is going to increase today, and hopefully in a day or two he gets in the cage. And then, once you get in the cage, you start swinging. It means you're getting closer. So we're excited about that. Chris Owings is still a little bit of ways away. Again, that nature has to take its course on the fracture. But the last X-ray that was taken showed that there's healing going on, and his is the classic 6 to 8 weeks. I'm not sure exactly where we are timeline with him. After the break, but he's still a little bit of ways away.
And to follow up on that X-ray, do you happen to know when that last one was?
I do not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Nate Groke.
Yeah, buddy, on Brendan Rodgers, what are his benchmarks? Is he trying to get to a certain number of at-bats, or is he just trying to get comfortable?
I think you just got to get game stamina, game feeling that you can come into a big league game and you're totally ready to go as far as an endurance situation of 3 hours, concentration level, conditioned, and to see pitches and to see live pitching and to see, competitive fastballs, competitive breaking balls. No timeline, but he's in a really good spot, and we'll get that underway tomorrow, and we'll watch it. Some guys are different than others in their readiness, and both physically and mentally. Some guys feel as though they need a little bit longer. Some guys feel shorter. We'll talk to Warren Schaefer and the staff down there, each and every day about how it's going, and we'll continue to monitor it.
Gotcha. And then separately with the Padres on that last series dealing with an outbreak, did you guys have to change your safety, protocols and stuff? Were you being more careful?
No. I mean, we've been pretty careful, as we talked about. I think the last time you asked that, Nick. Again, we're away from them, obviously. I don't know on the field. I guess it could have been a little dicey with Myers. Playing those first couple innings, and then Hosmer. You don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anything we could have done on the field differently. I know that inside our clubhouse we're still pretty adamant about the protocols, mask wearing, distancing, all those things that we adhere to downstairs here. We're still on top of that.
Gotcha. Thanks, buddy.
Daniel.
Oh, hi, bud. Daniel Guerrero from MLB.com. I'm filling in for Thomas Harding today. Nice to meet you. As far as Saturday's game, is the starter for that still undecided?
Yeah, undecided. We're working through a couple different options. That decision will come, maybe as early as tomorrow or tomorrow after the game. But we got a few guys in mind.
Is Jose Mujica somebody who could be an option?
Could be, Mujica, Castellani, Santos down in AAA, potentially Shashin out of our bullpen. Those are probably the likely candidates.
And then as far as Elias Diaz's defense, what have you kind of seen out of that and what he was able to do yesterday?
Yeah, he's been great. The work that he's put in with Mike Redmond since his arrival here last year, it's starting to show up in games. Just the calmness behind the plate, the poise, the receiving, the blocking have all been much improved over the last year and a half. We feel good about Elias behind the plate. I think yesterday showed again, what he can do with the arm. We've seen that a couple different games where he's actually, saved games, won games, preserved games with his defense. Some good plays out in front of the plate, throwing guys out at third base in critical situations late in the game. That's happened with, somewhat regularity, which is awesome. And I do think the bat's coming. I really do. I know he's off to a really, really tough start. We spoke this afternoon a little bit about that, but I think the turnaround is coming because I think he's too good of a hitter.
And I know you talked about his bat, but with Dom Nunez hitting, does that kind of give you guys another option of things to do behind the plate in that spot?
Well, we feel as though, they're both going to get their playing time. Dom has also proven very well defensively as a rookie here. His first, I think, full-time exposure to playing a lot, and he's handling that well. And the power has shown up with 5 homers. There's a on base component there with a little bit of a walk in there with Dom. I think his plate discipline is solid, and I think it will continue to get better. We got to work a little bit on the strikeout totals, a little bit too high for sure. Dom will be the first to admit that the strikeouts have to be cut down. But he's performing. I think he's doing a great job working with the pitchers and game calling. He's done really well behind him.
Thank you, bud.
Yep.
Last 2 will go Mark, then Danielle.
Hey, buddy, just real quick. I don't know if anybody asked, with Bard pitching yesterday, where are you at with Daniel and the back end?
Yeah, we're gonna assess Daniel today when he's. I'll probably pop out there right now. The pitchers will be out there. I'll see where he is. He has arm feels. He had 2 days off prior to last night. Yesterday, 5 outs, 28 pitches, hard pitches. We'll see. He might have an inning in him tonight, maybe the 9th. Given everybody else is fine, we'll probably stay away from Almonte. It'll be 3 in a row for Almonte. But everybody else is good. If Bard is unavailable, you probably see Gibbons back there, Stevenson, Kinley, Sheffield. One of the lefties, if it makes sense. Later, 6th, 7th inning if we need them. So, we got plenty of arms tonight.
Thanks, bud.